So the PlayStation Portal has already been hacked, the PS5 is in later stage of its life cycle, and the Nintendo Switch 2 may not come out this year at all. All that and a couple of other news in today's video. Let's get to it. Alright, so after last week we had a lot of news around the Xbox and we heard all about what's coming next to the Xbox and the exclusive games. Now this week is all about PlayStation and Nintendo because we got some interesting news when it comes to these two consoles. First of all, let's talk about Sony. So this week we got an official statement from Sony itself, and Naomi Matsuoko, the Sony senior vice president, mentioned that looking ahead, PS5 will enter the later stage of its life cycle. This comes after the sales were not doing so great for the PS5, and considering that this year it will not be a very good year when it comes to Sony. Last year we got a couple of good games. We had Spider-Man 2, we just got the God of War Ragnarok a couple of months prior to that. So there were some good titles when it comes to Sony, but this year is not doing so great and we don't really have an official statement when it comes to first-party titles from Sony. And now with the news that the sales are not doing so great, it may not come as a surprise that we have this official statement that the PS5 is now entering its latter stage of its life cycle. For me, to be honest, it does come as a surprise because the PS5 overall, I think it's doing pretty good. I know that a lot of you out there just recently managed to get your hands on a PS5 because it was still pretty hard to buy this console. So now I'm thinking that more and more people will manage to play their games on the PS5. And with the rumors that we may get a PS5 Pro, it's a pretty strange statement, especially from Sony itself. And I'm really curious what this year will be all about. I'm really curious if the PS5 Pro would still come out. Me personally, I don't really see a reason why, because the PS5 is still strong. We can still play a lot of great games, 4K, 60 FPS. Well, not all of them, but maybe that could be an upgrade that we will get in a PS5 Pro. But even so, I don't really see a need for a new console. We did get the PS5 Slim, which doesn't add anything new. Well, maybe the removable Blu-ray drive, but that's just something extra. It's not related to performance, so no new technology, no new hardware out there for the PS5 Slim. And now with this official statement, I'm really curious if the PS5 Pro will actually come out, or maybe this is actually in relationship to this official statement. Maybe that's why it's considered that the PS5 is now entering its final years, because the PS5 Pro will come. So maybe that's in line with this idea. Who knows? I'm really curious. But to be honest, I'm not really expecting, and I know a lot of you out there will say that they don't really need a PS5 Pro. But if we do get that one, it should be before this year ends. So hopefully we should hear about this quite soon. But I would love to hear from you. What do you think? Will we see a PS5 Pro? And if so, will it be this year, or should we expect one maybe in 2025? I'm really curious. Let me know down in the comments. Now, another interesting story about Sony that comes from this week is that the PlayStation Portal was already hacked. That's true, you heard it correctly. We got Andy Nguyen. This guy has mentioned on Twitter that the PlayStation Portal was already being hacked after more than a month of hard work, and it's running natively the PPSSPP. That is pretty well known in the hacking community. We have noticed this on a couple of other devices. And we have a picture right over here where we get GTA 3 playing natively on the PlayStation Portal. He did mention that there is no release plan for near future because there is so much work that needs to be done. But an interesting aspect that really caught my curiosity is the fact that he also mentioned that the SD card partition is only of 6 gigabytes. So that means that we don't really have enough storage. So it will be pretty hard to add your mods and games on this console. But the fact that we can hack this console already, this could open up new opportunities, and I'm already imagining a couple of other aspects as well. Imagine playing Xbox cloud gaming on the PlayStation Portal and a couple of others. But I am curious if that will work, what will happen to the actual remote play application, because if you are aware of this, the PlayStation Remote app usually doesn't go well with third-party controllers, and if the PlayStation Portal will be hacked, maybe then it will be considered like a third-party controller and we will not be able to use the internal controllers anymore. So I'm really curious if that will be working, if we can put the remote play application on the PlayStation Portal so we can also use some other ones as well. So hopefully we can hear about that one soon. And I know a lot of you out there are really curious about this one because I know the general opinion, the PlayStation Portal, it's a big failure, and people were actually curious about hacking, how long it will take, and the possibilities of using some other software on the PlayStation Portal. So we're almost there. Maybe in a couple of months it will be something that we can actually use. And continue on with Sony news, not really news, but keep in mind that on the 20th of February, the new games from the catalog, the PlayStation subscription, are now out. This month it's actually pretty decent. We got some pretty interesting games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Need for Speed Unbound and a couple of others. I'll link everything here. I know that the Sony subscriptions are not doing that great and people are complaining about them, myself included. I actually have only the essential one currently, but I'll be honest that this month is actually pretty decent, and if you already have the subscription, you can go ahead and check them out. The games are out starting the 20th of February. Now switching up a bit the news, let's go to Nintendo, and apparently there is a Nintendo Direct that will come out, and probably by the time I release this video it will already be out. And to be honest, I'm not really expecting any news about the Nintendo Switch quite yet. I know there are a lot of rumors that the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement will come out somewhere in March, and maybe that will still be the case, but apparently the actual release date has been pushed from the end of this year to early next year. So apparently we're actually 1 year ahead of the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever that console will be called. So it may still take some time, unfortunately. I already made a video about my wish list and what the Nintendo Switch 2 has done for the portal gaming and what I'm expecting for a Nintendo Switch 2. But apparently we're still not there yet. We still have a couple of months or almost a year to wait until the Nintendo Switch 2, but hopefully we can at least get an official release. Maybe we'll have some visuals, we can see how that console actually looks like, what to expect. So I'm really curious if that will be the case in the event that apparently should be kept somewhere in March. And to close off this video with something not necessarily proper gaming related, but apparently by the end of this month Apple will have a new event related to the new iPad and iPad Pro. Finally get a new redesign, a new keyboard. And why I'm mentioning this in a gaming news is because if you already know, with the launch of the iPhone 15, Apple is now getting more and more into gaming. We actually got a gaming porting toolkit for the MacBooks where you can play natively games from your Steam library, and I actually made an older video about that one. The iPhone 15 Pro has already some AAA games like Resident Evil, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I'm really curious what this will mean for Apple, and maybe with the release of the new iPad Pro we'll get more into the gaming community and we'll have some proper gaming on Apple devices. I know that when you talk about Apple you don't really think about gaming, but if you have more options to play games on, I'm all about that one. And even though I just got a new iPad like a couple of months ago, I'm really keeping my eye on that one. If we'll have some proper gaming with the new M3 chips on the iPad, who knows, maybe I'll check those ones out. And I'm really curious about the new keyboard, if it adds extra functionalities when it comes to gaming. But yeah, I'll make sure to test that one out. So there you have it. These are the main topics that I consider to be really important for this week's news. If there is something else that you would like me to cover, or if I missed anything, drop a comment down below. I'll make sure to cover that one next. Or we can continue this in the chat. So drop a comment right over there and I'll make sure to check each and one of your comments. That's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed this video. Keep an eye out for more gaming related videos. And actually the Steam Deck is almost 2 now, and I am planning on releasing a video about that one. So that's it for now. This is the Tech Unravel, and I'll catch you in the next video.